Okay, I'm going to talk to you today about citing sources. So, from this day on, for the rest of your school career, college included, since you know how to do this after today, you will be expected to do it in high school and college without much explanation. Okay. So it's important that you understand this and not necessarily that you have it memorized, but that you understand how to do it and can do it. So I don't have it memorized. I have, a lot of it knowledge, but I don't have all of it memorized. And part of it is because of the simple tools the internet gives us now on how to cite sources. So, first of all, your sources are anything that you use um, to support whatever you are writing about. Okay. So, in like a state test, you only have the articles that they give you. But when you are doing a research essay or something like that for classroom, your regular English class, you have to find multiple sources. Otherwise, you would be doing a report on like one website, and that's not really checking across sources to make sure that you have accurate information. So you always, for my purposes and probably for others in the future, you always have to have at least three different sources. At least that's minimum. So the internet, of course, is a great place to find resources. Okay. It also, unfortunately, makes it easy for us to just copy and paste what other people have already said. This is plagiarism, and plagiarism, of course, is using the work of others as your own. The consequences of plagiarism can be severe. You essentially can use other people's words as long as you give them credit. So you have to say where this information came from. Otherwise, you are committing plagiarism. Okay. So it can be confusing, especially when you're first starting out doing this. So I'm going to give you the link to this so that you can watch these videos. But we're going to just discuss in this video some of the things that I want you to do. Okay. First of all, there is something called easy bibliography. Now, it's right here on this page, and this is on my website as well. It's also in the slides, the daily agendas. So when I was in school, we didn't have computers. So we had to know, we would get a printout essentially, and we would have to go to the library and use actual cards, like little cards and little shelves. And we would have to type it on a typewriter. So now that you have something like this, you just need to keep track of where you got this information from and the things that you did take the information from. So essentially, how I explain it is you're allowed to copy other people's words. You just have to tell where you copied it and, uh, put it in quotes if it's not your wording, or right after it, you have to give in-text citation. So you're giving me a bibliography at the end of every source that you ever used, but within your story or your essay, you have to tell right after where you copied by putting it in parentheses. Okay. Now, other teachers might do it a little differently, but for the most part, that's how most will do. So, we're going to click on this easy bibliography and take us here to see what this machine does. This thing is going to be something that you're going to love. Now, I will say this, it's built into Google now too, but this is easy to do. First of all, I would encourage you all to sign up with your Cambridge City School email, because once you sign up, it will save it for you. So it is super easy to do when you're using a site. Copy it into EasyBib and it will do it for you and it will save it for you. So let's say you're doing an essay and you forget where you got some information because you were busy writing it down and then forgot to write where that source came from. If you're signed into EasyBib and you copy it in there, it will be saved. Okay. So first, one thing you can do is check your paper for plagiarism, but we're going to go over here to create citations. So if we click on Create Citations, first thing you have to do is choose what you're doing. Is this a website, book, journal? And if you click more, there are tons more if you look through here, okay? So we're going to go ahead and click website, okay? Now, I will tell you this. In the future, you're not going to just be able to use the internet only, okay? So, but there are books online that you can use, okay? So we're going to, now you don't want to click create manual. You're going to cite a website by the URL. That's this thing up here, okay? So let's say we were searching about Abraham Lincoln. I never want to use Wikipedia, but I would say the whitehouse.gov is a pretty reliable source, okay? So how do we cite, let's say we get some information out of this, okay? How do we cite this website? We copy the URL up here and just copy it. And then we go back in and we paste it into EasyBib. Click search. Okay, this says, is this what you're looking for? Yes, it is. Click cite. Okay, this is what they say they found. Sometimes it doesn't have everything. The biggest thing is you do not want to fill it in if it's not there. Don't make it up. You can go back and see, is there a publisher? Is there a date published? Because sometimes they have that on the website. If they do, it's either going to be at the very top usually or at the very bottom. I don't see anything on this page, so we're just going to skip that for now and go back into EasyBib. And this is what they have found. So you hit continue. And then what it does is says, add any information below. The starred boxes are strongly suggested. So we try to go back into that website and we try to find an author and at least a year. Now, this is a sub page. That means that this is actually a sub page of the whitehouse.gov. Okay, so where can we find possible like where this was published or dates it was published? It doesn't say here, but we can go to sometimes we can go down here and find more information. But I don't see anything off the top of my head, and we're just going to just move on for our purposes of this video. So we're going to complete the citation. Okay. Now, this is MLA 8, and that is what we will be using, okay? Now, all you have to do if your teachers want you to do other types of style, I know like Chicago is one for history a lot of times that history teachers will tell you to use, but these are the different types. So all you have to know is which one does your teacher want you to use. Most teachers in Cambridge are going to use MLA, except for maybe some history teachers. So we're just going to keep it MLA, and we want to do this alphabetically. So all we have to do is click here, okay, and check it, okay, copy the citation, and then we paste that into our paper. That's it. Now notice it also has copy in-text citation. So how do we do that? Okay, so if we are, putting a sentence into our essay, we can use the copy in-text citation. And all it does is shorten that for us for inside of our paper. And it's kind of like a little breadcrumb to our ending page, okay? So going back into my website, okay? So this is Easy Bibliography, Easy Bib, and it is super easy. Now, if you forget that, I'm going to put this link there, but there's also another video of someone else explaining how to use Easy Bib, okay? Just remember to do it, okay? Now, a works cited page is also a bibliography. So you may hear teachers say works cited or a bibliography. It is simply a list of all of the sites or all of the books or all of the sources that you use in your paper. So a bibliography, of course, is a list of books, websites, other material on a subject, and a citation is the quoting or phrasing of a book or author in support of a fact, okay? Here is a sample bibliography, and then I'm going to show you what in-text citations are as well. So here's a sample bibliography. Okay, so notice these are in alphabetical order. That is one of the things that you have to do when you are citing sources in a works cited or a bibliography page. Okay, these are just simply copied from EasyBib. All I did was copy the either the book information into that search thing or the website. Okay, so like this is a website, this is a book. Okay, so notice they're in alphabetical order and they are not indented in the first line, but every line after that is indented. There's also a space between each one so that we know this is one, this is another, etc., etc. Okay. Now, an in-text citation, and this is also clickable, is like I told you, it is right behind the sentence or phrase that you are copying into your website. Now, even if it's not word for word, if it's not from your brain, it needs to be cited. Okay. This is also called parenthetical citations because you put them in parentheses. Okay. So these two videos on this website are super important for you to review and can be, used at any point. So how to use EasyBib in an MLA works cited page and how or what are in-text citations. So I will list this website for you as well on the page that I put this video. So make sure that you are clicking on this to understand the differences.